I'm Pastor Daniel, and this is my blog. At Jesus' invitation, plug in and recharge. If you've ever seen a Disney movie or heard a fairy tale, you're probably familiar with these 5 words. And they lived happily ever after. These words conjure up images of a world where our relationships are controlled by fate. A world where people who are meant to be together emerge victorious despite all odds. A world where the struggles and the work that go into relationships are condensed to these 5 magical words. And they lived happily ever after. If we're not careful, the story of Adam and Eve in Genesis could sound a lot like a Disney fairy tale. God sees that Adam is lonely. And so God makes a partner for Adam out of one of Adam's very own ribs. When Adam sees her, he says, "This at last is bone of my bone and flesh of my flesh. She shall be called woman, for out of man she was taken." Not too long after this joyful union, Adam and Eve were taken in by a lie. They eat fruit that doesn't belong to them. God banishes them from Eden. They're condemned to a life of hard work. And their oldest son kills his younger brother. Adam and Eve suffer. They have heartbreak. This is definitely not a fairy tale ending. Relationships are tricky things. They're complicated. And they aren't always successful. Even so, Jesus is good news for our relationships. His table blesses us, and he renews our bonds in love. His broken body on the cross frees us from the false expectation that all relationships end happily ever after. His resurrection helps us to see hope through broken relationships. And his ongoing presence among us helps us to know God's constant friendship, even as God brings new people into our lives. The Lord is a God of relationships, and the most important relationship is God's relationship with you through Jesus. Thanks for plugging in. Check back next week. At Jesus' invitation, plug in and recharge.